What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm proud to be bringing you guys the return of one of the most popular series on my channel. Today we're going to be going over my top 10 fire Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. For those of you guys that have been with us a little while, know this was a really big series for me and my channel back in the Let's Go days. Actually, almost a year ago to this day is when we actually started this series. We went over all the best fire types, all the best water types, all the best ice types, electric types, pretty much everything in Let's Go. They got their own dedicated video where I'd show you guys every single Pokemon for that type, and then I would pick my list and I would talk about the reasons why they're ranked where they are, and I would challenge you guys to leave a comment in the comment section below with what your list is as well. I want to know, go to the question of the day. What type do you want me to cover next? Let me know in the comments below, and the most popular type will get the video made around them. Similar to how we've been doing it with the, mono teams. I know a lot of people wanted to see mono fighting, so I did mono fighting. A lot of people said they want to see dragon. We're working on mono dragon. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what type you want to see me work on next, and while you guys leave in those comments, let me know what your top 10 list is. Well, there's actually not that many fire Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield, so it's highly possible that we have the exact same top 10, and I want to know the order of your top 10, because the order is what makes this really important. Now, the thing we're going to be looking at when we look at this list is each Pokemon's competitive usefulness and like the grander scale. So we like to play, Battle Spot singles. We like to play VGC doubles. We like to play, Smogon singles. We play so many different sets of formats and stuff like that, that I think that every single Pokemon has their places to shine. And I'm going to be doing my best to highlight each Pokemon's usefulness in those niche formats. Like, let's say if one of these Pokemon is like really good in one of those formats, that might boost it up a couple spots in the tier list, because, some Pokemon are just a lot better in other formats. So without further ado, these are all the fire types that are fully evolved, not counting like Silvally holding the Flame Plate or something like that. But there are 13, I think there's 13 of them that are actually like available to be used. If you want to include Heatmore, that's okay. I don't think we should include Heatmore, but you know what? He is included. I had to go catch this guy. It was a pain in the butt. But anyways, yeah, there's only 13, so I figured this is a pretty good one to start the list off with, so you guys can try to match your list the best mine as possible. So we're going to start things off. I think the 10th best Pokemon, the 10th best fire Pokemon in Sword and Shield is, drumroll please, it's going to be Centiskorch. I think Centiskorch is the 10th best, and I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me, because this is one of the new Pokemon, and a lot of people want the new Pokemon to be really good. But in reality, let's talk about what fire types bring to the table. Fire types bring, tons of aggressive pressure. They're usually relatively strong on the physical or special side. They usually have pretty decent speed tierings, but they're usually pretty frail. A historic thing of fire types is being like historically really weak to stealth rocks. You can see a lot of the Pokemon on this list take huge damage from stealth rocks, and there's only one other Pokemon that takes more damage from stealth rocks on this list, and that's Charizard. This Pokemon is a bug fire type, so that means it's going to be taking a 4 times weakness to rocks. There's a stealth rocks up, this guy's taking damage. So that is in the singles format. In doubles format, well, this guy's doesn't have that stealth rocks weakness, but in doubles, Rock Slide, the move, is more prevalent, and Rock Slide's really prevalent on Pokemon that have like 80 and 90 base speed tierings. This guy has, I think, a 70 or 75, so it's just a little bit slow. It's not that much stronger. It does get really good abilities like Flash Fire, but if you look at this list, like half the Pokemon on this list get Flash Fire. So if you compare it to a bunch of other Pokemon, like maybe on a bug list, this Pokemon plays very high, but on a fire type list, it's not really bringing that much to the table that all of its peers don't already bring. Sure, this Pokemon does get a really exclusive cool Gigantamax and a Gigantamax move, but I don't think that's enough to actually rank it any higher than I am. This Pokemon stats really do speak for themselves, and while Bug is a really cool typing, like, what do you need Bug to hit? Grass? You mean the type that you can already hit with your base stab and fire? I really feel that Centiskorch is a really cool Pokemon, and I feel that it just hasn't realized its full potential yet. I feel once the meta develops, this Pokemon might be able to go to like 6 or 7, but as it stands, there's some really good Pokemon, and that's why I'm putting Centiskorch at number 10. So hopefully, we're going to go from like 10, 9, 8, 7, and then we'll go like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is number 10. Did you guys guess number 10 right? Hopefully you did. Let's go on to number 9. Number 9, feeling fine. I know you guys are going to hate me, but I don't think I'm wrong. I'm going to put Coalossal at number 9. And a lot of you guys are thinking, Coalossal? How do you think Coalossal is better than Centiskorch? Centiskorch is so much better. Well, first of all, they both get Flash Fire, but Coalossal actually gets a really cool ability called Steam Engine, which is very similar to Flash Fire, but it boosts this Pokemon speed drastically if hit by a Fire or Water type move. It actually maxes out this Pokemon's speed. This Pokemon has a 30 base speed stat. It's relatively slow, but if you max it out through the use of like, a teammate in doubles using a water type attack, let's say you switch in on a really weak water attack or switch in on a fire attack and get that speed boost, this Pokemon can solo carry games. Now, the only bad part about that is it's relatively weak, so you need to use a weakness policy with it, and even then, you're going to be needing to like Dynamax after that to hopefully KO things with like super effective coverage moves. So I think this Pokemon is really cool. It's a Pokemon that requires a lot of babysitting. You have to build your team around Coalossal, but if you do, you can get a team that is in like, like the mid tiers. Like, you're not winning regionals with Coalossal, but you're really going to mess people up, and it's a really fun team to play. I think Coalossal it's a really cool Pokemon. I think this Pokemon looks amazing, and I'm really excited that we even got it in the first place. I always like the rock Pokemon that we get, and being a rock type, it actually brings a really good dynamic. I know it has like more weaknesses to water, obviously. It makes it 4 times weak to water. It adds weakness to like more weaknesses to ground, 4 times weak to ground, weaknesses to fighting. But I feel that like you're really, really solid, and it really adds on that offensive coverage, because I think fire can kind of get shut out by like other fire types sometimes. You ever had that situation happen where you get shut out by other fire types? Rock, you have that dual stab with fire and rock, and you just come in huge with, if you want to be physical or special, this Pokemon, unlike Centiskorch, can be physical or special. So I really do like what Coalossal brings to the table. And that Steam Engine, it also still gets Flash Fire if you wanted to use Flash Fire. So that's why I'm ranking it just a little bit higher than Centiskorch. That's why I'm ranking it just a little bit higher. All right, let's see. What am I going to rank up next? Who is going to be rank 8? Do you guys think you can guess rank 8? Do you think you can guess it? Who's it going to be? Survey says it's going to be Ninetales. Survey says it's going to be Ninetales, and one of the reasons why I think Ninetales is a good rank 8 Pokemon is because Ninetales' base stats really don't help it out that much. I think Ninetales has like 100 base speed. It has a really low, it has like an 80 or a 90 base special attack. So it's subpar. It has to really be a special attacker. But what Ninetales gets over other, Pokemon in this little, or what other fire types is its access. I know this one says Flash Fire. Ninetales gets access to Drought as its hidden ability, and being able to set weather is really, really good. So Ninetales can set weather, which can use its own weather as a steroid, or you can set weather to take away your opponent's weather, and 100 base speed isn't terrible. Literally, this Pokemon does not really bring that much. It pretty much has to be either like Scarfed or Spexed or Sashed or something like that. It's a very predictable one-dimensional playstyle for this Pokemon, but setting weather and having that board control state, whether in singles or doubles, this Pokemon, you cannot deny the effect that weather has in any metagame. I know in Sword and Shield, it's a lot easier to change the weather through Dynamaxing. You just Dynamax with any Pokemon, use Max Geyser, and then it's raining. So it's a lot easier to change weather in this game. But still, Ninetales is a Pokemon that if I have Ninetales and you don't like the sun, it forces you to Dynamax earlier than you might want to change the weather back on me. So I really do think that Ninetales is still good enough to be on the list. I think it's a Pokemon that has a lot more going for it, especially because its speed stat is so much higher than Coalossal and Centiskorch. And again, Ninetales also gets Flash Fire, which is like one of the main selling points of both of the previous Pokemon on this list. So Ninetales being number 8, I wish I could put it higher, but once you start to see the way the rest of the list is going to like round out, you're going to realize that like, yeah, I'm actually doing Ninetales a favor by putting it this high on the list at number 8. So going up to the next one, this is going to surprise a lot of you guys. We're going Salazzle at number 7. Salazzle is a poison fire type. It's a Pokemon from Gen 6. It gets an ability that makes so it can use Toxic on steel types. That's a really, really cool ability. But in reality, like, who needs to poison steel types when you can just burninate them with your fire? I think Salazzle in doubles especially is an amazing Pokemon. It gets Fake Out, Encore. It has an amazing speed turn. This Pokemon is super fast, and it has just such great stab moves. Like, perfect coverage. Sure, you have like a 4 times weak to ground, right, with being a poison fire type, but like you can melt fairies, you can melt grass types, you can melt pretty much anything. Steel types, you have really, really good coverage. You don't like to fight rock types that much, but, I think Salazzle has exactly what it needs going for it. I know historically on my channel, I've used a lot of Salazzle with like Fake Out, Encore, I fling King's Rocks, I have that coverage for like Fire or Poison, and I think Salazzle is just a really, really cool Pokemon that I think Salazzle is eventually going to end up in like the 3rd or 4th, 5th spots. But as for right now, I think since people are still discovering the meta, they haven't really found the right spot for Salazzle, but I can guarantee this Pokemon will cut regionals. You just can't sleep on fast Fake Out users. Even though Fake Out isn't as dominant this gen because you can't really flinch Dynamax Pokemon, Fake Out will eventually rise back up in popularity, and having access to fast Fake Out, having access to fast Encore, it's going to be something you can't sleep on while also having offensive coverage. Like you see a lot of people using Whimsicott right now. This Pokemon's a great check to Whimsicott because you can Fake Out the Whimsicott to break its sash, and then both of your stab moves can one-shot it. Depending on if any weather changes, you have 2 stab moves that one-shot that Pokemon. And being able to like hard check a Whimsicott like that, a Pokemon that's in over half of the teams on the doubles ladder, you can't sleep on that. This Pokemon has so much untapped potential, and it's unfortunate to have to put it at number 7, but we're going to see with the way the meta is right now, it kind of has to be that way. So up next, we're going on to number 6. It's going to be Chandelure. Chandelure, going number 6. It is a Ghost Fire. It's the only Ghost Pokemon on this list. I would say Chandelure is more Ghost than Fire, but Chandelure has a pretty decent speed tiering. It's 80. It has Flash Fire. This is probably the best Flash Fire user on this list is actually Chandelure because, yeah, sure, Ninetales can get it. Yeah, sure, Coalossal can get it. Yeah, sure, Arcanine can get it. Those are all, and Flareon, yeah, Flareon can also get it. But in reality, like, Chandelure is the one Pokemon who actually abuses the Flash Fire. You switch in on a Flash Fire, you get that boost. Chandelure has one of the strongest special attack stats in the game. This is a great Pokemon for having a Focus Sash, Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Life Orb, Air Balloon. This Pokemon has so many different sets, and it's not as one-dimensional as it seems. I know in doubles right now, people running the set that you see me have right here, they're using it as an anti-Trick Room mon, using the move Imprison to make it so your opponent can't even set Trick Room. And remember, since Chandelure is a Ghost type, you can't fake it out. So in doubles, this Pokemon gets really good support moves. It can be your Trick Room setter, it can be your anti-Trick Room setter, it can get access to Energy Ball if you want to take out Gastrodons, you can get access to Heat Wave if you want to do AoE damage. Chandelure has a lot going for it, and being like a Ghost Fire, it actually has a significant better matchup against like against Mimikyu, for example. So Mimikyu would like to go for like play off on most things. You can't really play off this fire type compared to like other ghosts. Sure, it could just go for like a ghost attack, but a lot of Mimikyus have cut the Shadow Claw in terms of other moves, and Shadow Sneak sometimes can't always OHKO a Chandelure if you don't have like multiple Swords Dances. So I think Chandelure is really good. You've seen me use it on a lot of teams. It's probably one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and I don't think I'm being too... I don't think I'm playing too much of a favorite putting it this high on the list. I would love to put it higher. I really would love to put it higher, but the meta just doesn't agree with putting it any higher than it is right now. Because as it stands, even though it might be the best Flash Fire user, Flash Fire is like a B tier ability, and I feel that you gotta play with the big boys. You gotta pack the abilities are what are gonna carry the Pokemon for the rest of this list. So Chandelure being number 6, I'd love to have it in the top 5, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see how the meta develops. So before we get into the top 5, is the list going according to plan? Has the list gone the way you think it has gone so far? Like, do we have the same list so far? Are there Pokemon that I'm leaving out? Are there Pokemon that you'd put higher or lower? Maybe leave that comment now and see if you've actually taken the time to make a list. Because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun making these lists. That's half the fun, is seeing if our lists match. So let's go to the top 5. Top 5, the 5th best fire type is going to be... It's going to be Torkoal. And for those guys who are thinking, Torkoal's garbage, right? Torkoal sucks. What are you doing? Saying Torkoal's better than Chandelure, Torkoal's better than Coalossal. Torkoal's better in VGC. The reason why Torkoal is better is because it is one of the slowest Pokemon in the game. It gets access to that drought to set the weather, and it gets if you do like a speed reduced Torkoal, like a speed reduced Torkoal. Why is this Torkoal? Hold on, I'm gonna check something about this Torkoal. That's so random. I'm sassy. Why am I not like modest? Anyways, I'm sassy. Anyway, you're supposed to be modest. I think I'm just looking at the wrong Torkoal. Hold on, let me check. I know it's the right Torkoal. That's really weird that it's sassy. Anyways, you should be quiet, Torkoal. You should always be quiet. Anyways, yeah, the reason why Torkoal's on this list this high is because it's the best fire type in Trick Room doubles. This is the Pokemon that carries hard Trick Room. You set the Trick Room, this is the Pokemon that comes in and slams those big eruptions onto the board. I think this Pokemon packs such a punch in doubles. You get multiple double KOs with this Pokemon. It's literally carrying the hard Trick Room archetype on its back. People don't want to play Trick Room, you gotta have a Torkoal. Or you should be packing a Torkoal, or like some kind of counter to other Trick Room teams that are running Torkoal because it is so popular. I think in singles, yeah, Torkoal's not too hot. Historically, it's been more of like a RUNU, like Rapid Spin Stealth Rock setter, so it's not amazing in singles. You're obviously not going for those big eruptions in singles, but getting access to weather, getting access to like solar beam eruptions, even earth power to be able to check other fire types. I think Torkoal has a lot going for it, and Torkoal's one of those Pokemon you definitely have to respect in the team preview. You can't just let someone herp derp roll you with a Specs Torkoal, whether it be with a Trick Room, whether it be with an After You like you've seen us done with other teams before. I think Torkoal brings a lot to the table and is definitely worthy of respect. So let's see, the fourth Pokemon on the list, right? The fourth Pokemon. This is where I'm going to lose everyone. If your list was up with mine up until now, this is where I'm finally going to lose everyone, because unfortunately for everyone, we are going to be putting Cinderace at fourth. And I know a lot of people are like, that's the starter, okay? It has 119 and it's so good, and don't even get me started on its hidden ability. Well, doesn't have the hidden ability. That's the reason why it's fourth. Once this thing gets whatever protein ability, the thing that makes it change its type or stab all its moves and stuff like that, once it gets that ability, it's like Greninja's protein. Yeah, this Pokemon's gonna be busted. This Pokemon's gonna be like Libero, I think that's what it's called. It's called Librero. It's a whatever the soccer term. This Pokemon's gonna be busted, but until then, all it really has going for it is it's well above average speed, not that much faster than things like Salazzle, that's already on this list, a little bit lower than it, and it has a pretty decent attack stat with like the really, really good moves in, I think it has like Pyro Ball, whatever that big soccer kick move is. That's really, really strong. It also has Court Change, which is like steals screens and hazards and stuff like that. That's specifically for singles. This Pokemon is a lot better in singles, which puts it at fourth on the list. Fourth, that's top four. That's in the money. It's pretty good. I still think Cinderace has the potential to be in like the probably even number 2 or at least the number 3 slot, but it has to get its hidden ability first. So we're going to wait and see when the hidden abilities get released for this Pokemon. Once the hidden ability gets released, bam, this Pokemon is at least number 3, with not the potential to get to number 2 upon very minimal results. I think this Pokemon will top cut regionals. I think Cinderace is very, very good. It's just that like from the top 4, the competition rises significantly for how good these Pokemon are. And I think Cinderace, while being very, very good, a Pokemon you see a lot, it just doesn't bring enough to the table because its ability Blaze is leaving it, is letting it lack for so much. Going on to number 3 though, top 3, we got Heat. No, I'm kidding. I was going to say, I can't even joke. We don't got Heat more. Oh, we got Charizard coming in top 3. And you may be wondering, Cinderace is way better than Charizard. Cinderace would beat Charizard every single time. That's not really the point. Charizard, I think, is, if you take a look at this list right here, Charizard is the best Pokemon to Dynamax with a weakness policy on this list, and that is a very common playstyle. It gets very, very good coverage. It has great ability to use both of its stab moves, being fire and flying, to go for like max airstreams. It gets max flares. It also has its own Gigantamax, which can like set burning land on everyone. So it gets a Gigantamax. It has its hidden ability there is Solar Power Charizard. It's a little bit slower, but it has the potential with its hidden ability to be a lot stronger on the special side. It could still be physical if it had to. Charizard, I think, just brings a lot more to the table than Cinderace before Cinderace gets its hidden ability. I think Charizard also gets like dragon attacks. It gets grass attacks from the Solar Beam. Charizard just has so much going for it, and I think that as the meta develops, this Pokemon just is always going to see play. Charizard is absolutely amazing in every single meta. Sure, Charizard does have a 4 times weakness to rocks, but historically, the way that Charizard works, at least in doubles, is, you get your weakness policy boost, and you just kind of win the game. You can set speed control with the max airstreams. You can set the max flare for weather control. After that ends, you have Heat Wave for AoE. Like, it just brings so much more team synergy to the table. It also has a couple more weaknesses, like having that electric weakness is actually a good thing. Having that rock weakness, if you're Dynamaxing and able to mitigate some of those rock attacks with Intimidates or Screens, it's actually really, really good because you can safely proc your weakness policy. Like, let's look at Cinderace. Like, Cinderace has weakness to fighting. Sorry, not fighting. It has weakness to ground. Charizard has immunity to ground. Like, look at everyone on this list is weak to ground, and Charizard is like, I'm a fire type that is not weak to ground. And that's a price that it's really hard to put that on there. Like, having Charizard not weak to ground, it's such a boost. Sure, you gain more rocks weakness, but like, you already had that, Like, let me just get more of that rocks weakness. It doesn't matter how much I get. Give me some immunities. And that's what actually puts it above Cinderace. Just by a little bit. Just by a little bit. So, the question is, we got 2 slots left. Who is... This will actually almost decide who is the best. Who is number 2, though? Who's the first loser on the list? I think it has to be... It's Arcanine. It's Arcanine numero dos. Arcanine is the second best fire type in the game, and the reason being this Pokemon has above average speed tiering compared to most of the Pokemon in the game at 95. Pretty good. It gets access to a tier 1 ability in Intimidate. It also gets Flash Fire. Hell, it also gets Justify, which is seeing play right now with Beat Up Whimsicott in doubles. This Pokemon gets access to Extreme Speed, which is a super good priority move. It gets access to Flare Blitz, which is a main stab. Close Combat, good fighting attack. It gets access to Wild Charge, Play Rough, Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun. Are you starting to see that this Pokemon has literally everything that you would ever want to need to succeed? It can be a sweeper, it can be a tank, it can be a wall, it can be a wall breaker. This Pokemon can do almost anything and holds so many different items, and I'm saying that from experience. I'm the first person to ever top cut a region with Arcanine, and I did it way back in the day with a weakness policy set, and I'm super excited to see Arcanine rising back up in that usage once again. Arcanine is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I think it definitely deserves to at least be in the top 3. I think that Cinderace could potentially be better than Arcanine once Cinderace's hidden ability comes out, but the amount of bulk that Arcanine brings to a team, with the amount of like tech moves that it gets, this Pokemon still hasn't even reached its like fullest potential in any format that it's in. It can hold so many different items, and I just think that most teams, if you're looking for any fire type to just splash into a team, this is definitely one worthy of splashing it in. But it's not the best one in the game. I'm sure you guys can tell what the best fire type in the game is. It obviously has to be, drumroll please, it's Rotom-Heat. Very similar to Charizard, Rotom-Heat brings amazing typing to the table. Charizard's flying typing made it so it couldn't get hit with ground attacks. Rotom's levitate ability makes it so it can't get hit by ground attacks other than Mold Breaker. Watch out for that Mold Breaker. But yeah, Rotom brings that really, really good defensive typing. Electric Fire, are you kidding me? All you're adding with Electric Fire is just amazing defensive, like amazing resistances. Like, oh, you mean I don't take neutral damage from flying and electric? I'll take that at the cost of what? Nothing? I mean, I would already get dumpstered by a Mold Breaker Earthquake anyways. So I might as well just throw more weaknesses on there because Levitate has my back. This Pokemon has, you know, well, let's talk about some of the weaknesses of Rotom. Obviously, the only fire damaging attack it gets is Overheat, but that can be mitigated by the use of spamming it in max mode, setting its own weather, you know, giving it its own steroid boost. It gets access to Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp, Trick. I think they took away Pain Split on it, but this Pokemon still gets so many more options. This Pokemon can be Scarfed, Spexed, multiple forms of different berries, leftovers. It can have that Eject Pack. This Pokemon can do so much, and I actually think, go look some of the comments on the videos, or wait and just watch me when people say like, so this is my team, what should I add? I always say like Rotom-Heat, because Rotom-Heat's a Pokemon that forces people to respect it. If your opponent's going with a lazy team build, they got maybe a Ferrothorn, they got a Gyarados. This Pokemon covers both those. This is one of the few Pokemon that checks Ferrothorn and Gyarados. Think about it. There's not that many Pokemon in the whole game that check both of those Pokemon, and both those Pokemon are very, very popular. In singles and in doubles, those Pokemon are super popular. And it still has like the Will-O-Wisp. I think this is one of the best Mimikyu counters in singles. Mimikyu is super popular, and I think Rotom just brings so much to the table that you can't not have it in the top 2 slots. And if we're comparing it with just Arcanine, sure, Arcanine can be a little bit more aggressive. Sure, Arcanine gets priority moves that Rotom doesn't have, but Rotom brings a substantial amount of bulk. It brings amazing defensive typing, like its secondary typing. It's almost more an electric type than a fire type, right? It's almost more an electric type than a fire type. So that means it does something that none of these other Pokemon can do, which puts it in a league of its own. If I were to tier list this, I would put Rotom in like an S tier. I'd put Arcanine in like, I'd put Arcanine, Charizard, and Cinderace in the A tier. I'd put Torkoal in, actually, let's do it. These guys, man's not hot down here. These guys are on the bottom. Let me give you a tier list, right? Tier list, bam, bam, bam. You got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. And unfortunately, we got the runners up. I'd have to say 11th is Flareon, then 12th is Turtonator, and then Heatmore coming on unlucky 13th. So yeah, I really think that, let me know if you actually want me to add more of this, where I do a little tier list breakdown. I think Rotom obviously is in definitely, like I said, a league of its own. Then we got the A tier, B. I think these two are definitely B tier because they bring a lot more to the table. I think these two, again, you know, being the C tier, they're obviously better than the Pokemon right before it. And, you know, these guys, they're good. It's just that, like, they're not that hot. And for a fire type, if man's not hot, it ain't got what it got. Unfortunately, I really wish that Flareon could be on the list, but upon looking at it, you can compare it to Arcanine. It just doesn't have what Arcanine has. It does not have the speed. It does not have, like, the fighting, the electric coverage, and that is really what makes Flareon not really work out on this list. But yeah, guys, please let me know what you think about this list. Let me know if you had a good time and want to see more of these videos, and please let me know your own list and any ways I can be making these videos better. I make these videos for you guys to enjoy them, so please let me know what you think about this video in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.